Alright everyone, the propaganda of the legacy media and the easily duped, goofy nature of the American left, like people with Trump derangement syndrome, knows no boundaries, and so a few days ago they had like pictures comparing Melaniatrump's Rosegarden design to the one from before, and it was really funny because there were people that were like labeling it fascism flowers, basically like, well, look at the design, it spells out KKK, which is complete nonsense. It's the most goofy thing that I've ever seen. It was funny because they were like, well, it's so much less colorful. It's sort of like the Trump presidency. Whoa, Obama was such a great guy, and Michelle Obama was so wonderful. Meanwhile, you were comparing a picture of the Rose Garden in obviously spring, because that's when tulips bulbs come up. By the way, none of these people ever studied basic botany, I'm supposing. Or landscape. They're too rich. They have another person of a darker skin complexion do their gardening for them usually. That's why Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren and people like that, I'm sure that they refer around their rich friends to the help regularly. Let's just put it that way. Like fucking plantation brides or something. But yes, of course, tulip bulbs are very colorful. It's very vibrant and diverse in color and stuff. But that's spring. That's not late summer like we're in right now, at the end of August. If you compare the two, there's no real comparison to be made. By the way, the garden is constantly re-landscaped anyway. As the plants go by, they're taken out and others are put in. It's like a never-ending rotation project. By the way, they should just permaculture the shit out of it. If I were the president of the United States and I could overhaul the Rose Garden, it'd just be a hodgepodge of different plants. There'd be like hugelkultur mounds everywhere and stuff, with a little green area in the middle with some benches or something like that. It'd definitely be a lot less fucking formal. To be clear, Melania Trump's Rose Garden to me is not aesthetically pleasing, but neither was Michelle Obama's. Neither have they been for most of history of the Rose Garden. I'm not into formal gardening. You may have noticed cottage gardens are the coolest looking. You know, you have a lot of companion planting, things hanging everywhere, a lot of antiquing and like wood and stone and stuff. I don't really like the formal approach. I really hate lawns, the most useless things in human history. Tear out your lawn and permaculture it instead. Do what Varg does, just throw rocks and mulch and shit everywhere and you'll be surprised about the biodiversity and all of the cool animals and bugs and stuff that you'll see. Oh wait, suburbanites hate bugs, they spray chemicals everywhere. Get away from them, they turn up the Wi-Fi so that it mutates all of the moths and, you know, Mothra will become a real thing someday, but it won't be because of atomic bombs. But it was funny to see how easily duped people were by this. It was obviously bullshit. If you knew anything about flowers, number one, about flower species, you know, the different times of year, if you actually, you know, spent more than 5 seconds considering, is this design new, that is the zigzag lines of the bushes, or has it been there before? A casual Google search that takes you 5 fucking seconds would have shown you that that design's been there for quite some time. It is not a Trump-era thing. It's been there to begin with. It was there under the Obamas. Are they KKK members now? It was sort of like when they were criticizing Melania Trump's Christmas decorations. I think one year it was like there were a bunch of red trees, which they were quite gaudy. And I think there was one area where it was like all white because it was Christmas, snow and shit. And they were like, oh, well, look, they hate color. They're not diverse enough. It's just like, it's a clusterfuck of stupidity. And the legacy media actually reports on things like this. This doesn't even just come from, you know, the average Joe cringe fringer with severe TDS. It comes from fucking CNN sometimes. CNN does shit like this. The Atlantic, the Wall Street Journal, these people are supposedly accredited, supposedly journalistic. They can't do a fucking 5-second Google search on the design of the Rose Garden. They should have a consultant on the history of White House landscaping come in before they make a story like this. But that would require more effort, and it would get less clickbait. It'd get them less ad revenue. So yeah, fascism flowers. You're not allowed to, you have to have more color and diversity, like they have to have like birds of paradise and shit like that. Melania Trump's fashion, and Trump's fashion in general too, is not something that I enjoy, but it's not fascism. No, they're not alluding to the KKK with the White House Rose Garden design. That's just stupid. It's one of the most stupid things I've seen all year, and we've had some fucking doozies so far. That's about all. Peace out.